Greetings. Okay, so I just couldn't stay awake any longer, so I decided to go and have a 7-hour nap. Yeah, so I stumbled into bed about 6. I could not walk in a straight line anymore. I was like falling. My balance was completely off, and my equilibrium was all a mess. Uh, yeah, so I needed to sleep badly. Otherwise, I would probably get horribly ill. So I basically went and just crashed for 7 hours. Set the alarm. So I actually woke up at 1. It's currently 2:19 p.m. and the phone is ringing. Just a moment. What the hell? 1-800 number. Yeah, I don't answer 1-800 numbers. Because it's usually telemarketers. And they can go fuck themselves. Holy shit, just go to message. Thank you. Alright. Sorry about that. They called earlier too. I don't know what it was. They didn't leave a message, so it can't be that important. Anyway, I know it's not work because work actually comes up as future shop. So that's okay. And if Aneta calls, it comes up as Aneta. So, yeah. Anyway, what was I going to say? Yeah, so I mean, it's still within the 24-hour period from when I started, but in order to finish watching all the movies on the schedule, it is going to go over. There's just not enough hours between now and 6:30 this evening. So, all right. So I'm just going through my morning routine here, checking my messages and stuff, and then we will carry on. The next one on the list is actually a. Is for the coffee hasn't quite kicked in yet. The criteria of checking out a classic that you've never attempted before. So I decided to check out North by Northwest. This is the beautiful Blu-ray digibook that a viewer sent me a little while ago. Yeah, this has been sitting on my shelf basically since he sent it to me, and I haven't got around to watching it yet. So I thought, hey, what a perfect opportunity to finally sit down and check it out. I understand one of Alfred Hitchcock's all-time greats, often parodied. I've seen a lot of the parodies, obviously, like, Family Guy did one, and I'm sure The Simpsons did one at some point. But anyway, yeah, I love Alfred Hitchcock's stuff, so I'm definitely looking forward to checking this out. I thought it was about time I did so. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but that was one of the reasons I wanted to participate in this marathon, is because it gave me the opportunity to sit down and watch a bunch of stuff that I hadn't watched yet, that I hadn't seen yet. So, yeah, away we go. All right, so I'm going to finish up checking out my messages, and then we'll get started on the next movie, and then I'll check in with you guys in a little bit. All right, see ya. Just answering some comments. I really need to get to work on the new HD rants, because I still see a lot of silly questions out there, and silly opinions, and just wrong opinions, and misinformed opinions, and just misinformed people. I'm getting really tired of people asking me the question, how long do you think Blu-ray is going to last? Or saying that digital downloads are going to take over from physical media. No, digital downloads are not going to take over from physical media. They are going to continue to coexist with physical media, because there will always be a demand for physical media. There will always be a collector's market for physical media. Even if physical media is just reduced to a niche market, it will always exist. But it's not going to be reduced to a niche market. The only change that's happening is people are moving more towards buying stuff online than going into actual stores to buy things. That's it. That's the only major change. It is not shifting from digital download or from physical media to digital downloads. Digital downloads are being added into the mix, and all they're doing is allowing us the opportunity to experience more content than we did before, being limited to physical media. But it doesn't mean that physical media is going away. You see? You get the point? MP3 and iPod is very popular. Did CDs go away? No, they still exist. They're still around. You can still go to the stores and buy them. You can still buy them online. Um, did it affect sales? Sure, it affected sales because it just offered more options for people. But it didn't affect sales to the point of killing the format. You know, people keep asking me, how long do you think Blu-ray is going to last? Well, obviously quite a while because we're already 6 years into the format. 6 years. If you haven't caught on by now that Blu-ray is not going away and that it's here to stay for the time being until the next big format comes along, whatever that happens to be. No, I don't think it's going to be HVD and 4K. Fuck that noise. Um, yeah, I just don't see why people are still asking that and why people still don't get that. It's not going away. So just enjoy it while it's here. Why are you so hung up on what's the next format going to be? Who cares what the next format's going to be? We'll 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 talk about that and deal with that and enjoy that when it comes along. But for now, it's Blu-ray. So enjoy it and stop freaking out about how long you think it's going to last. It's not going anywhere. Not for a very long time. So basically the best answer I give is people ask me, how long do you think Blu-ray is going to last? And it's like, well, probably a comparable lifespan to DVD. Simple as that. Speaking of Blu-rays, it's time to watch one. I'm going to now watch North by Northwest for the first time ever. Yeah, gotta love some Hitchcock. Alrighty, so I will talk to you guys a little later. And, yeah, bye. Hello. I'm only 7 minutes and 28 seconds in. Loving it already, actually. This is, I can already see why people like this one. The dialogue is very snappy and the action starts almost right away. But it occurs to me, I haven't really eaten anything and I'm starving, so I'm going to go make some toast. One of Rosie's little pictures. She's liking to, she's actually becoming quite the little artist and drawing a lot of funny faces and stuff. Alright. I do love my toaster oven. Make sure everything is set on toast, yes. We'll come back when it's done. There we go. Yeah. A little crispier than I usually like them, but that's okay. Still haven't quite got the timing just right with this particular toaster oven. It's also a convection oven, so you can actually cook stuff in it quite nicely. There we go. When I was younger, I always used to put butter on as well, but I don't know, it just kind of seems like overkill now. I would always request of my parents in the morning when I wanted peanut butter, toast and peanut butter. I say, I want toast and peanut butter with butter under the peanut butter. It's good. It gives it a nice, slightly saltier flavor, I guess. But I find that just peanut butter is good as well. I see I'm actually running low on peanut butter. That's not good. I will have to get more. Well, basically at this point, the plan is once I start working a little more, I'll do a big grocery run on my first paycheck. So this is one thing that is a carryover from my youth. I like to cut them into triangles. Always have. I do this with sandwiches too. That is some seriously crispy toast. There we go. Alright. Kraft peanut butter, my favorite. You want to know the ingredients? This is why I like Kraft peanut butter. Ingredients: select roasted peanuts, corn dextrin, sugar, salt, hydrogenated vegetable oil. And that's it. So basically, no weird chemicals in there. Just all natural ingredients. Gotta love Kraft. It's the one with the teddy bears on the label. Mmm. Peanut butter. Alright, back to the movie. Hi, everybody. Oh, this chair is far too comfy. Stretch. Oh, holy Moses. I didn't think it would be so difficult to just sit and watch a bunch of movies. You'd think, I mean, how often do I do exactly that, right? Ow, I think I pulled something. Ow. Just stop breaking myself. Okay, it is presently 6:11 p.m. I'm feeling kind of tired, so I think I need to make some food. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to make. I actually have some ribs in the freezer, and I thought that they would be great for the next movie, but I like to slow cook ribs, so it takes like 2.5 to 3 hours for them to cook the way I do them. Oh. Excuse me. So I guess I could get those going now and then just make something else for now to sort of tide me over. So why don't we do that? Let's go to the kitchen, and then we'll get into the next movie, which I think is going to be another one of the 3-hour ones. Yep, I guess I've put it off long enough. I need to do one of the other 3-hour ones. Okay. Just quickly, I thought I'd talk a little bit about North by Northwest. Just finished watching it a few minutes ago. I was actually just watching some of the extras as well, like as if we're not pressed for time enough as it is. So anyway, this is of course the very nice Digibook edition, which was sent to me a while back. I forget who sent it to me. Anyway, I'm sure some of you remember. No disc because, well, it's in the PS3 right now, right there. But this is a very nice Digibook edition. Very classy. I believe this is out of print now, so something of a collector's item. Quite nice. Yeah. So anyway, really enjoyed this film a lot. No idea why it took so long to finally check it out, but really good stuff. There's the back cover there. Just quickly go over the extras. We have commentary by screenwriter Ernest Lehman. New 2009 documentary reveals the master's touch, Hitchcock's signature style. Acclaimed feature-length career profile, Cary Grant, A Class Apart. Explore in depth the movie's innovations and influences in the new North by Northwest, one for the ages. Vintage 2000 documentary, Destination Hitchcock, The Making of North by Northwest. Music-only audio track, Stills Gallery, theatrical trailers and TV spot. Yeah, there's another one with music by Bernard Herrmann, actually, that I often talk about. Needless to say, because this is considered one of Hitchcock's all-time greatest movies, the IMDb trivia section is massive. So rather than reading you sections of it, I'll just kind of summarize some of the stuff I saw there. Apparently, originally James Stewart wanted to have the main role when he was talking to Hitchcock about the movie. So Hitchcock actually waited until he felt kind of bad about it because he actually wanted Cary Grant for this one, and but he didn't have the heart to break it to Jimmy Stewart. So he waited until Stewart was committed to another film, and then offered him the role when he knew that he wouldn't be able to take it because he was already committed to another movie, and then offered it to Cary Grant, who thankfully took it. What else? Apparently, the climactic scene on Mount Rushmore was not actually filmed on Mount Rushmore. It was filmed on a soundstage, basically set, because they could not get permission to film on the actual monument. Something about it being, filming, staging an attempted murder on a national monument just wasn't something that the, Parks and Recreation folks were going for. Apparently, also, rather than shooting in a South Dakota woodland for the scene where, well, one of this I won't say too much so as not to spoil it, but there's a scene where they're in the woods, and rather than actually shooting in the woods, Hitchcock apparently planted 100 ponderosa pines on an MGM soundstage. Speaking of MGM, this is actually the only movie that Hitchcock ever did for MGM. He did a lot of the others for, I guess, Warner Brothers and Paramount. Even though it is an MGM film, it is released through Warner Brothers. I think a lot of MGM's catalog titles have kind of been divvied up amongst other studios over the years, and, well, now Warner owns this one. Yeah, so anyway, a lot of trivia on this one. I mean, if you just go to the IMDb page, you can check out all kinds of stuff on here. Car buffs may be interested to know that most of the cars used in early scenes, such as the New York Taxi, the Glen Cove police car, and the County Detective's car, are all 1958 Ford sedans. And apparently there was also going to be a scene in the Ford auto plant, but what happened there? Yeah, it was basically, I'll just read this thing. Alfred Hitchcock planned to shoot a scene in the Ford automobile plant in Dearborn, Michigan. As Thornhill and a factory worker discussed a particular foreman at the plant, they would walk along the assembly line as the car was put together from the first bolt to the final panel. Then, as the car rolled off the line ready to drive, Thornhill would open the passenger door and out would roll the body of the foreman he had just been discussing. Hitchcock loved the idea of a body appearing out of nowhere, but he and screenwriter Ernest Lehman couldn't figure out a way to make the scene fit the story, so it never came to fruition. So there we go. Definitely a cool idea, though. Anyway, yeah, so let's head out to the kitchen and make some food, shall we? Okay, first things first, need to go into the deep freeze and get the ribs out. Just a moment here. There you go. Check this out. $5. You see that? $5. Or, well, and 72 cents. For 2 massive racks of ribs. How awesome is that? In fact, I don't even think I have a pan big enough to fit these in there properly. I don't know. Do we want to do the big rack? Or do we want to do the smaller rack? You know what? I think we're going to do the big rack. Why not? It's party time, man. Okay, just one second. Just got to put... I was doing some dishes earlier. Just have to put the frying pan away. Yeah, this is the biggest pan that I have. Yeah, that's going to work well. Actually, as they cook, they tend to shrink a little bit, so we'll just put that there. Let me just check the angle here. Oh yeah, we're good. Okay, so there's actually 2 racks of ribs in here, so I'm just going to cook up one of them, and then we'll save the other one for another time. They are actually individually wrapped. So there we go. Okay. Excellent. That's a lot of ribs. Holy Moses. Okay. Yeah, it's a little bigger than I thought. How can we do this? Maybe if we do it sort of like that. That'll work. Yeah. You know. It's just such a ridiculously huge amount of ribs. Now, fortunately, I did this with the last rack of ribs. I do have this small pan from the toaster oven. So what I'll do is in the oven, I'll just kind of put that underneath one side to catch any drips from the overhang. And then as it shrinks down a little bit, as it cooks, I'll reposition it in the pan. Thinking outside the box, folks, gets you far in life. Okay, I'm just going to give this a quick run under the water here. Oh, that is beautiful. That is beautiful. Okay. Not to thaw it, just to rinse some of the frost off a bit. But also, wow. Here, let's do this corner, I think, because then it won't. Actually, we gotta season up this side first. Okay, so as far as seasoning goes, pretty simple. Ribs are literally the one of the easiest things you can cook, and I'll show you why. First off, I'm just going to preheat the oven. I actually cook it at 275 degrees Fahrenheit. Nice and simple, and basically, and cooking from frozen, so all the freshness is sealed in there. So basically, what we want to do is just get lots of barbecue sauce on there. I don't actually have a proper brush, but that's okay. We'll make do. There we go. And this is basically it. You just sort of slather barbecue sauce all over both sides. Throw it in the oven for about 2.5 to 3 hours for a rack this size at 275 degrees. And from frozen. And that's it. That's good eating when it's all done. Okay, so we just slather it all on there. Excellent. Now I do check on this about halfway through, and at this stage, I mean, like, normally, ideally, you want a bigger pan, obviously, and then just kind of flip it over here. There we go. Wow, I can't believe how. Can we actually? Maybe. Yeah, no, that's not really going to work, is it? Can we do it this way? No. No, basically, it's going to hang over the side no matter what we do. So we're just going to make do with that. Hold on a second, I'm just going to quickly rinse my fingers here. Okay. Same thing. Ah! Come back! Ugh. Yeah, it's alright. So then basically, oh come on, how did barbecue sauce get on the outside of the bottle? Like seriously, how does that happen? So let me just do the same thing here. And that's it. And I should have just enough left for that smaller rack of ribs, which we'll do another time. So here again, just want to make sure it's all, yeah, barbecue sauce all over it there. I guess the nice thing about using the spoon also is you can just sort of scoop up bits of sauce and slather it all over the place. Fabulous. I do steak in a kind of similar fashion, but I actually, you know, first off, it doesn't take as long because I never do it from frozen. Second off, I actually do season it in addition to that. I find with ribs, you don't really need to season much beyond the, you know, beyond the barbecue sauce. There we go. Okay, good. I think we're good to go. Excellent. Scalding hot water. Okay. Yeah, so essentially this part that's hanging over here, I'll just put the other pan underneath like that, and it should be fine. I've actually done that before, and it was fine. So, okay. Oh shoot! What the hell was that? I forgot, because it sticks up out of the pan like this. I actually have to take the other grill up. Okay. So slide this in, basically right to the back. Put this pan underneath. And there we go. Done. No chance of drippage. We're good to go. Alright. Did I just get barbecue sauce on the towel? I don't think so. Okay. Alright. So that'll be good in a few hours. Now we need food. Ah, crap. So now we need food for now. Need something really healthy and nutritious, I think. Maybe... Ah, I know what we can have. Is this okay? Ah, a little bit hot. Let's just move this rack out of the way, shall we? Okay. And actually the, ow! The frying pan that I just cleaned, I can dirty up again. There we go. Alright, so just turn this up to 6. Some imperial margarine in there. Actually, a lot of imperial margarine. There we go. Nice and healthy, eh? Okay. What am I gonna make in that margarine-filled frying pan? Well, come back in just a moment, and I'll show you. Actually, while that's going, I'm gonna go pee. Okay, how are we doing here? Very good. Let's help that along a bit. Alright. Oh, you know what I should have made? Popcorn. Oh well. This will be good too. I'll have popcorn later. Well, it's technically been 24 hours. It's currently 6:33 p.m. But I'm just going to keep going for a while. Basically knock off. I've still got 2 more movies to go. So, yeah. So we'll at least get those done. And then depending how I feel after, maybe I'll sneak in another 1 or 2 short ones or something. Alright, whoops. We okay? We didn't spill there? Just double check. No, we're okay. Alright, good. So we got nice melted margarine there. Let's get some light on the subject, shall we? And what we're going to have... Ta-da! Oh, you can't see what that is. Ta-da! Maybe you still can't see what it is. Well, I'll show you. Pierogies! I don't want a ton of pierogies, just enough to take some of the edge off. Let's make 8. That should be good. Try to keep them all more or less to the center of the pan. Yeah, I know a lot of people like to boil pierogies first, but I don't like to do that. I find they just turn out too mushy and gooey when you do that. I just throw them straight into the fry pan, frozen. What have I got left in here anyway? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Alright, so let's make it 9. So I've got 9 in here and I've got 10 left in the bag. Awesome. So these are actually just good old-fashioned potato and cheese style, but with whole grain, you know, what do you call it? You know, the whole grain outside stuff thing. Yes, this is why I don't do cooking shows, because I don't know what half the things are called. It's like, is it food? Can I eat it? Does it taste good? Then that's all that matters. Alright, so we're going to pause for a bit, and we'll come back when these are sizzling nicely. Alrighty, let's see how we're doing here. Okay, good stuff. Looking good. Swish it around a bit. Okay, so what we do is, this isn't a Teflon coated pan or anything like that. It's actually one of those laser etched surfaces, so you can actually use metal in it quite safely. Just take care not to scratch it, obviously. You don't want to get all kinds of nicks in there, but the point is, it doesn't you know, reduce the effectiveness or chip it or anything like that. So I'm just very careful, and I like the you know, the control that using utensils gives you. Amazing. There we go. So as you can see, they're getting nice and golden on the bottom, which is great. Like that. I like doing them like this, just frying them up from frozen, because then they get nice and crispy on the outside, and then they're nice and soft and gooey on the inside. It's wonderful. I always try to keep them in the center of the element. This particular frying pan, this is a Rachel Ray product placement. This is a Rachel Ray branded frying pan. And I gotta say, you know, believe the hype, these are damn good frying pans. I really like them a lot. I've been using pots and pans that use this type of surface basically since the early 90s. I picked one up at the local thrift store for like 12 bucks. It was a pot, and it had that kind of surface on it, and ever since then, I just, like, literally nothing sticks to it. I mean, you can burn eggs in it, you can burn milk in it, you can burn anything in it, and it doesn't matter, it just wipes right out. It's beautiful. So basically every frying pan, every pot that I've, well, not every pot, but every frying pan anyway that I've picked up since then has had that surface on it. And whenever possible, I try to get pots with that kind of surface as well. Doesn't always work out that way, but whatever. It's a lot better than the old cast iron days, you know. So these should only take a couple more minutes and they'll be done, and we can carry on with the next movie. Okay, good. So ribs are coming along nicely. I wanted to get some food into me because inevitably what happens is whenever I'm slow cooking ribs while I'm home, I'm just being tortured by the delicious aroma of the ribs cooking for the whole bloody day. So I wanted to get some food into me so I wouldn't be, you know, suffering too much. So the next movie we're going to watch is actually over 3 hours. It's 3 hours and 17 minutes. So the ribs should be done by the time, you know, while there's still about an hour left in the movie. So good. So I'll be able to enjoy the ribs with the movie, which would be great. Okay, so I'm just going to take a quick peek, see how we're doing here. Usually when they've been cooking for a while, it doesn't take too long for them to finish up. And when they're able to squish down nicely, it means that the inside is pretty much thawed and heated up nicely. So good stuff. All right, so I just washed the plate. I'm just going to dry that off real quick, and then we'll get these served up. I didn't make an uber pot of coffee today. I basically just did just a regular, like, single cup kind of thing. I was feeling kind of woozy after, and actually kind of high after having so much coffee yesterday. So I thought, you know what, let's just go with we'll just go with water and cola today, and that should be good. Okay, so I think these are done. I'm gonna serve them up. Yeah, see, look at that. Nice and golden brown on both sides. Just the way I like them. That's good. It's usually scalding hot for a little while, so we're going to let them cool for a bit and get started on the next movie. Another epic I've actually been wanting to see again for a very long time because I haven't actually seen it since I was a kid. So, well, I'll tell you a little bit more when we get back over to the command center there. Alright, good stuff. Let's take that off the element to cool properly. Also, the vent for the oven is actually underneath this element, so there's always heat coming up, especially when I'm cooking stuff. So we'll just put the frying pan well off the element and we'll clean that up later. And there we go. Fresh. Stop it. Fresh pierogies. Let's go watch the next movie. Okay. So, I have nowhere to put these. Shogun Warrior. This is Great Mazinger. Or actually, this is the Americanized version, Great Mazinga. Yeah, I've just been downloading some fan subs of the original anime series. They've never been made available over here, apparently. But anyway, so I check them out however I can. So, the second and final selection for the 3 hours plus category is this one. I Am Asparagus! That's right, the 50th anniversary edition of Spartacus, which some of you may recall, I actually picked up at a Walmart blowout sale a little while ago. I think this was like $7 or $5. It was like ridiculously cheap. This is the 50th anniversary edition. Loads of extras on here. Got deleted scenes, archival interviews with Peter Ustinov and Gene Simmons, behind-the-scenes footage, 5 vintage newsreels, and a whole bunch of image galleries, including production stills, concept art, costume designs, storyboards, posters, and print ads. And there's some BD Live content as well, apparently, which, of course, they do not specify. Now, I have to mention, apparently, this is not the greatest transfer in the world. They actually used an older high-def transfer, so there is, some DNR issues here. It definitely needs to be redone. But considering how cheap I got it, I'm not too worried about it. I mean, really, the studio didn't get any of my money. It was being sold at clearance prices below cost. So, yeah, no real guilt here. I just want to see the damn movie at this point. So as I mentioned in the kitchen, I actually have not seen this since I was a kid and really don't remember much about it other than it was really long and epic and stuff like that. I think I saw it probably around the same time that I saw Ben-Hur for the first time. So anyway, a sword and sandal classic, Spartacus. Gonna check it out now, and I'll report back to you guys a little later. This is a really long one. It's actually 3 hours and 17 minutes. So it's presently 6:49 p.m. So we're past the 24-hour mark, but I'm, I guess we just won't include the 7 hours that I napped. Alright, so I'll talk to you guys in a little while, and we'll check up on the ribs in a couple hours. Alright, later. Hello. Wow, I'm already almost an hour into Spartacus. I just love these old epics. Like, a lot of people balk at the running time of these old epic movies. But honestly, I love them, and I just get swept up in the story and the characters and the action and the spectacle. And a lot of the time, I don't even notice the running time. Like movies like this, obviously, Ben-Hur, Lawrence of Arabia, stuff like that. I mean, I don't even notice the running time. I mean, those are like 3.5, 4 hour movies almost. And, yeah, awesome. See that? I mean, that's the mark of good filmmaking right there. When you can have a movie that's that long, and your audience doesn't even really notice the passage of time. Oh boy! But one thing I gotta say, yeah, it seems what I had heard was right. The transfer is just awful on this. Like, I mean, I was almost considering turning it off, like because it was just in the first scene, it was just so distracting. But thank God it's such a good movie, and I just got sucked up in the characters and story. But I mean, I still keep seeing it popping up, like in just complete waxy, plasticky facial textures and glowing edges on things from the excessive edge enhancement and stuff. Yeah, and I was just poking around a bit online just to see what some of the other reviews had been, just kind of, while I was watching. I often do that. I like to multitask. And apparently I think it was the original cinematographer of the film, basically hates this Blu-ray edition for that reason. He was actually helped participate in the restoration of the film in 1991 for the Criterion edition, and but sadly the Criterion edition is not available on DVD. It's or not available on Blu-ray. It's only on DVD. And he said the Criterion edition is the closest that it has ever been on any home video format to the original theatrical presentation, the color timing and everything. But and he just despises the Blu-ray. Well, hopefully we'll get a better version of it. Anyway, I paused the film, to just give you a brief update, and also because it's time to check on the ribs. So let's go check on the ribs. I gotta say, they are smelling so good already. I mean, well, I've been in there almost, a little over an hour. Maybe about an hour and a half. Oh, well. When did I put them in? 6:30? Yeah, it's 7:50 right now, so they've been about an hour and 20 minutes or so. Yeah, I really need to get this garbage out. I'm just going to actually put this over by the door. I'll take it out a little later. Okay, so let's see how the ribs are doing here. Get some light on the subject. Alright, there we go. Yeah, see. There. See, notice that? Notice how much it's shrunk down? I mean, it's still, we still did get some drippage there, but that's okay. That's why I put that there. Let's close that up. Okay, so Just going to shift these over a little bit. There we go. Now they're more or less entirely in the pan, kinda. A little bit. Yeah, that's nowhere near as much spillage as there was, which is good. So when it gets a little ways into it, I actually like to put some water in the pan. Now ideally, obviously, you want to be putting them in a broiling pan and actually having it lifted up off the bottom, and unfortunately I don't have one, and I actually did have one briefly, but it wasn't very good, and I ended up chucking it. So one of these days I'm going to head over to Home Depot or something and pick up a good one. Nice big one. Maybe get a couple actually. Get like a medium-sized one for stuff like, steaks and whatnot and chicken. So, yeah, essentially you want to put the water in both sides. It helps prevent the sauce and whatnot from burning and sticking to the pan, but it also helps to keep the ribs moist. So that should do it. A couple cups worth of water. Most of that will boil off by the time it's done. I'm not really too worried about the underside being totally slathered with it, so if it gets a little bit diluted, like the barbecue sauce gets a little bit rinsed off or whatever from that, that's fine, whatever. I mean, it's basically served its purpose on the underside by now anyway, and already soaked into the meat. So I'm going to put the other pan on the edge here again anyway, even though it's not really hanging over anymore. But like I said, I mean, as it cooks, it softens, it bends, and stuff like that. So, all right, so we're going to put this there. Put that back underneath to catch any drips. There, that should do. All right, good. So those should take roughly another hour, which will bring us almost up to the 2-hour mark in the movie. So let's get back to the movie. Hi. It's nighttime now, and well, as you can see, it's the intermission, which puts us a little past halfway. I'm at an hour and 47 minutes into the movie. It is presently 8:59 p.m. I think the ribs are probably done by now. So this seems like the perfect time to go and check on them. Let's go. Alrighty. It is time. Time to gorge ourselves on cooked flesh. Look at that. Oh, yeah. That is perfect. Absolutely perfect. Make sure we turn the stove off. Fantastic. Oh, I hear some of you asking about, well, what side dish are you having? Side dish? You see how many ribs I've got here? Do you really think I need a side dish? Besides, I had potato chips. That counts, right? So I just gotta find... This isn't quite like the back ribs where it's just like straight. There are some cross ribs in there, so you gotta kind of... Here, let's chop this part off here. And I think we'll be good. I think I can just... Yeah, some of them are actually fairly soft. They're just kind of like cartilage. So you can just sort of slice right through them. Yeah. Oh. Swap. There we go. I'm actually going to drain off some of the juice there. Just give me a moment. It's it's a little excessive. Actually, I can sort of do this with one hand, I think, because I am mighty. There we go. All right. I actually wanted to see if I could grab a chunk of this as well. There we go. Yeah. Hell yeah. Whenever I watch stuff like about gladiators and whatnot, any kind of sword and sandal stuff, or Napoleon Dynamite, I like to have a lot of meat on hand because it just seems like, meat-eating cinema. Maybe that should be a subject for a video. Meat-eating cinema. Cinema to eat meat by. Alright. So I will definitely eat all of this tonight over the course of the evening. Probably not all at once, but, whatever. Anyway, back to the movie. Spartacus awaits. That was good. Yeah. The thing about these particular kind of ribs is the bones are quite huge. So even though that looked like just a mountain of meat, really it was like easily like 50 to 60% bones. So yeah, not quite as piggish as I made it out to be. There's still that one last little rack left. Anyway, just wanted to give you a quick little rib update. Very nummy indeed. Next up, still watching Spartacus, currently at the 2 hour 9 minute mark, so a little over an hour to go. And then it'll be on to the final movie of the movie marathon. Alrighty, okay, awesome, full of ribs. Back to the movie. Catch you later. Oh. Hello again. Whew. Well, just finished Spartacus. That was a terrible transfer, I have to say. Yeah, don't... unless you find this, like, used somewhere and you just want it for the extras, don't waste your money on this edition, seriously. Like, wow, did they ever mess that up. Yeah, so... Yeah... Apparently, the guy I was thinking of was actually not the cinematographer of the film. He was a gentleman by the name of Robert A. Harris, who in 1991 was basically headed up the project to restore a lot of footage and clean up the the presentation, clean up the film and whatnot, but restore a lot of the footage that had been removed. Yeah, because I always remembered Spartacus being a much shorter film, like being like 160 minutes or thereabouts. And I think that's because the last time I saw it was on VHS back in the 80s. This restoration that put all the additional footage back in was done in 1991. It was very similar to what was done with Lawrence of Arabia back in the late 80s, where 30 or 40 minutes or so worth of footage have been put back in and stuff. So, same kind of thing. Apparently, so it was basically to restore it to the original state it was in the original 1960 premiere. But apparently the restored version actually contains a couple of extra minutes because there was some additional material that had actually been censored at the time of the original release. So not only did we get all the original footage put back in for the restoration, but we also got the censored footage put back in as well. So that was pretty cool. So the version that we have floating around now is more complete than it's ever been before, like prior to 1991. So that was pretty cool. So anyway, I really enjoyed that. This is another one I'm not going to bother going through the Oh God, excuse me. I still have one more movie to go. It is so far beyond the 24-hour period by this point, and I've had a total of 7 hours of sleep in the past 36 hours. Uh, Whatever. My goal was basically to at least meet the minimum criteria for the challenge. And as I think I said a few times already, if I hadn't started so bloody late, I would have been able to do it all within the right time frame. Anyway, but oh God, excuse me. So yeah, just bleh. The brain it has gone to mush and is soaking in pork fat right now from all the ribs. Yeah. So okay, one movie left to go. I was gonna say I'm not gonna bother with the IMDb page on this one because there's just so much stuff, and I think I basically gave you some little tidbits anyway with the restoration. Ugh, God, I'm gonna make. I'm actually. I think. I. It's like I'm drunk or something. I actually think I'm gonna make some coffee. I'm not crying, although Spartacus is a very sad movie in parts. I'm gonna make some coffee and then watch the last movie. So what have I chosen for the last movie? Well, okay, the last one, uh, which is actually the first of the criteria. I kind of watched them in mixed up order, but I don't think you were. It doesn't matter what order you watch them in. Was actually the first criteria that Ryan Chataway laid down in the original challenge. That was that one of the movies you watch has to be your favorite film. Now, of course, being me, and I think the same goes for most of us who are A, doing this challenge, and B, watching these videos, I have a lot of favorite movies. And it's tough whittling it down to just one. There's a few that I was considering, like Batman, the 1989 Batman movie, because that's one of my favorites. But I'm actually already planning to rewatch all the Batman movies when it gets a little closer to the release of the new Dark Knight movie. So probably in June, I'm gonna do a Batman marathon of some kind, and yes, I'll do videos about it as well. Then I was thinking, well, what about Alien or Aliens? Because those are two of my favorite movies as well. And I thought, well, no, because Prometheus is coming out, so I'm already going to be doing a marathon of those as well. So no. So I thought, well, what about The Thing? The Thing is easily one of my favorites, but I kind of want to hold off watching that again until I watch the new one, because I haven't seen the new one, the prequel movie that came out. Yeah, so I want to watch that and then watch the old one again. But the old one will always be a favorite for sure. So I thought, well, what about maybe Transformers the movie? Because that's one, that I have 5 versions of, and across 3 editions. But then I thought, nah, well, I don't know. I don't know. I've seen it so many times, but I'm not really in the mood for it. So I thought, well, man, what about maybe Citizen Kane? But I thought, well, we already kind of hit a lot of classics in this particular run. I kind of want to do something a little more modern. So, and this will probably come as no surprise to you whatsoever, I decided to go with a longtime favorite. Ta-da! Oh, there's just no light over here, is there? Blade Runner. Can you see that? Blade Runner? It's Blade Runner. Anyway, Blade Runner. Yeah, well, it's because the lights are over there and not, whatever. Anyway, it makes it look dramatic. So of course there's 5 cuts of Blade Runner to choose from. Which one would I like to watch? Well, I thought, actually, I'll just bring this over here. I thought, why don't we go with the version that was on this, the Criterion Collection Laserdisc, which is, can I get another light on in here? Hold on a second. difference? Ugh. Yeah, that made a huge difference, didn't it? Anyway, the version that was on the Criterion Laserdisc, because the Criterion Laserdisc was basically the one that basically made me basically fall in love with the movie, basically. I'm so gone in the head. Um, Now, granted, of course, this is the international cut. The international cut is basically identical to the theatrical cut, except it has a few scenes of, gore added back in that were cut out for the theatrical cut. So, as far as the old wrong version, I've always considered the international cut definitive, like the preferred version over the theatrical version, as far as the old versions of the movie go. Plus, the most recent one I watched, I think, was the work print, which was pretty interesting. A lot of differences there. There's also, of course, the final cut, which is my current preferred cut. So I think it just incorporates the best of all the different versions and gets rid of the stuff that doesn't work so well. But yeah. So anyway, I know, we're talking about DNR. Some people complain that the final cut is DNR, and it's like, yeah, it does seem to have had more digital tampering than the other cuts. The other 4 cuts, however, are untouched, so they're actually fully intact. So I've not actually watched any of the other cuts on here. Basically, I watched the work print and the final cut, but I haven't actually watched the other ones on the Blu-ray set because I'd seen them so many times. Like, I'd seen the 1992 director's cut and the international cut so many times. I think the only one I haven't actually sat down and watched is the theatrical cut, but honestly it just seems kind of redundant because it's identical to the international cut. It just doesn't have the blood and guts scenes. And I like the blood and guts scenes. I think they're very effective. So anyway, that's what I'm going to watch for my finale favorite movie. So yeah, I'm going to watch the international cut of Blade Runner. But first, I'm going to... where is it here? Yeah, here it is. So the first things first, I'm going to actually make some coffee. Oh, boy. I don't think I've actually watched Blade Runner since I bought this Blu-ray set. That was quite a while ago. That was a few years ago. 80... Yes, because in the 80s I was totally buying Blu-rays. Just, I knew they'd come out with players eventually, so I started buying Blu-rays as far back as the 80s. No. Alright, let's get back into it here. Wow, 10 minutes of bullshit and yawning. Alright, I will talk to you guys a little later. I'm gonna go make some coffee. Alright. Greetings. Okay. Whoa. Sorry, probably should have turned the light on before. It's currently... Let's just get the focus here. It is currently 2:20 a.m. So, when did we start? We started... When the hell did we start? At like 6 p.m. yesterday? No, that can't be right. Yeah, no, we started at 6 p.m. yesterday. So, 7 hours of sleep in the middle there after the first half. And then carried on from about 2:30 today. So 24, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2. 24 plus 8, so we did 32. Yeah, so we did a 24-hour marathon in 32 hours. There you go. All right. Well, just finished up good old Blade Runner, international cut. Man, I just love that movie. Definitely one of my all-time favorites, and I just love it more every time I see it. I've heard that apparently when Ridley Scott gets finished up with Prometheus, he's actually planning to do another Blade Runner film as well, to revisit that world again. So if it was in anybody else's hands, I would be concerned and not looking forward to it. But because Ridley Scott is doing it, coupled with the fact that Prometheus looks amazing, yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what he does further with the Blade Runner world. Should be interesting to see, and I look forward to it. But I mean, in the meantime, of course, we have just this wonderful, wonderful edition of the movie. I mean, I've talked about this a number of times before. I did the big review of the briefcase set, which I have, and then I did this in an update a while back, and I did a 5-part review of the movie and just my thoughts on Blade Runner in general on a channel called The Cigarette Burns. And yeah, lots of stuff. If you go through my Multimedia Chronicles playlists or just search Blade Runner Zaranyzerak or something, you should be able to find them. I'm too lazy to find links for everything. Anyway, it was great to see the international cut again, because that's the one that really made me fall in love with Blade Runner. Because of course it was my first Laserdisc originally, so that would be this one. There we go. See, now we can actually see it a little better. That'd be this one here. It's not actually physically this one, because this is one that a viewer sent me recently to replace the original that I used to have, but sold many, many moons ago. Great to have this back in the collection. I mean, this has huge sentimental value for me. Not only being one of the big significant first ever Criterion edition I bought of anything, first Laserdisc I bought. It's the specific edition that began my lifelong love affair with Blade Runner. And yeah, just all kinds of reasons. So it's great to have that in the collection. The international cut on the Blu-ray looked fantastic. I think it actually looks better than the final cut. As I was saying earlier, I think the disc that has the theatrical, international, and 1992 director's cut, it basically has them all with seamless branching on one disc. That one is actually untampered with and untouched. It's just a straight, beautiful transfer of the original film elements, and appears to have, lots of the, the original film grain intact and just really gorgeous. Whereas the final cut, while it is the superior cut of the film, does have some DNR issues that I know ticked off some people. I don't think it looks that bad. I mean, it's not like a DNR disaster by any stretch, but it could stand to be less fiddled with. We'll put it that way. It doesn't look as good as it should, especially when you have the other versions right there to compare the picture quality with. I mean, it's in the same edition. You don't think people are going to notice a difference in quality? Anyway, I don't know what more I can say about Blade Runner that I haven't said before. I still love it. I mean, there are scenes in that film that literally give me goosebumps every time I see them. Just the emotional impact of them and whatnot, and the psychological impact of it. It's a very psychological movie, and I think that's why a lot of people don't like it. I mean, I'm not trying to sound pretentious or anything, but it's literally because people just don't get it. They just don't understand that it's meant to be subtle and minimalistic and such, and just kind of put you in that world. And it has very minimal dialogue. A lot of it is visual. A lot of it is implication. A lot of it is symbolic. And it's one of those movies that definitely benefits from multiple viewings. And a lot of people just don't dig on that, so it's not their cup of tea or whatever, and that's fine. We're all different, and that's what makes the world an interesting place. Myself, I love it. I love stuff like that if it's done well, and I think Blade Runner is a shining example of that sort of thing being done well. Not to mention, I mean, the model work in it is just phenomenal. I mean, it really is a shining example of just how good physical models can be versus CG. Although I'm sure in the soon to be in production Blade Runner movie, we're probably going to be looking at primarily a CG city, but knowing that it will be under the guiding hand of Ridley Scott, I think it will be a spectacular CG city that, I don't know. Maybe it'll be a mix of CG and models. Maybe it'll be all models. Maybe he'll just decide to go old school with it. I don't know. We'll see. We shall see. Well, that wraps up the marathon. All done. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. As I say, I'm probably going to be doing 2 cuts of this. Basically a condensed version of just the marathon and sort of just basic highlights, and then a full-length miniseries version with, split into like 2-hour episodes, where it's more or less the complete uncut footage. So let's just do a quick summary of what we watched. So, day one, day one, I watched, yeah. Okay, so first off, I started off with Wyatt Earp. Excellent film. The theatrical version, which is 190 minutes, so it's a little over 3 hours, 3 hours and 10 minutes. Yeah, there is an extended version of this, but it was only ever released on VHS and Laserdisc, so sadly I do not have that. And then I watched, and so this was part of the 3 hours plus category. And then I watched the film I had no interest in seeing, and that particular one was chosen for me by Stoudman, and it was The Proposition from 2005, which is a great Australian-made sort of Western type movie. Very gritty, very dark, very intense, and really well done. And the reason I had no interest in seeing it was just because I didn't know anything about it. I had actually kind of confused it with some other movies that weren't really of much interest to me. So that one was a very pleasant surprise. And Stout knows the kind of stuff I like, and he knew that I was going to like it. And he'd been trying to get me to watch it for a while. So, yeah, so The Proposition, that was really good. Then I watched Breathless, Jean-Luc Godard's French New Wave masterpiece. Excellent film. I'm definitely going to be watching this over again because I was getting pretty tired by the time it was on, and I'm sure I missed a ton of stuff as a result. And then finally, to end off day one, well, not really end off day one, but just before the extended nap, I watched The Spirit as the major flop. Oh, and this was the foreign film basically that I selected, and The Spirit was the one that was a major flop that I decided to watch. And then today, finishing everything up, I started off the day by watching Alfred Hitchcock's North by Northwest with my morning coffee. Excellent film. This was a lot of fun. It was a lot funnier than I expected. I didn't expect it to be. It's kind of a romantic comedy, espionage, adventure, case of mistaken identity kind of thing. I didn't expect the comedic elements quite so much, but I really enjoyed them a lot. And it was obvious that Cary Grant was having a lot of fun with the role there, and very. Oh no, sorry, I'm thinking of a different movie. Never mind. And then I watched Spartacus, the 50th anniversary edition, for the second 3 hours plus movie. This particular one is 3 hours and 17 minutes. And I was just going to say, for North by Northwest, but I was thinking of this one. A very young Gene Simmons plays the slave girl that later hooks up with Spartacus. Gene Simmons, of course, I recognized from the 90s revival series of Dark Shadows, where she's, getting up in years. But in this one, she's quite young and spry, shall we say. And then finally, to cap it all off, I was supposed to watch one of my all-time favorites, and that was, of course, Blade Runner, which, and in this case, I chose to watch the international cut, because that was the one that really got me into Blade Runner originally, and for a long time it was actually the only cut that was available here. So it was kind of a treat to go back and watch that version of it again, because that was the version that really got me into Blade Runner in the first place. So there we go. So 7 movies, of which 6 are mine. The other was Stoud's, which he streamed for me. But yeah, a great selection, an awesome marathon. Spoke with Ryan briefly on Facebook, and he said basically the idea is to do the 24-hour marathon as an annual event. So we'll probably do this again next year, because this was definitely a lot of fun, and it was great to finally be able to sit down, have an excuse to sit down and watch some stuff that had been sitting on my shelf for a while. Alrighty, well, I think I'm gonna relax, maybe watch a movie to unwind from watching all the movies. I'm actually kind of liking having this chair here. So maybe you can expect some videos from this chair here in the near future. Alrighty. Anyway, that is most definitely it from me to you for now. This has been an epic
day and a half, and I hope you enjoyed the journey with me. I think I'm going to go polish off those ribs. Alrighty. I never got around to making popcorn, did I? I bought all this popcorn. I bought like a whole kilogram of popping popcorn and never made any. Well, maybe next time. Alrighty. That is it from me to you for now. So until next time, thanks for watching, and sayonara.